A very good afternoon, good evening, good morning, depending with what time you are watching this episode. I am more than humbled to have you on board this day. And remember, whenever you see this kind of a set, we are talking about matters that affect or infect you in one way or the other. I still remain to be Wangui Gachanja, and this is the Oracle Television Network. The program is The Unspoken. This is a program that brings to you matters that are not mostly spoken on the altar, that these are matters or issues that affect you on a personal level, on a family level, on a company level, or even on your relationships. And that is why I always go out of my way to make sure that I bring you different set of people to talk about different things on this show. And today, by God's grace, I am humbled to have yet again an advocate who has been here before, and I saw so many comments and so many remarks on the episodes we did on children and law. And even before we introduce our guest, earlier we talked about the law of succession, and so many questions came in, and we are here to talk about the same. Karibu sana wakili.
Thank you very much,
yes.
Esther. I feel humbled. I told you you're looking good.
Thank you.
Thank you. Allow me to commence by thanking you for the good work you're doing. When you look at the story of the 10 lepers in the Bible, out of 10, it's only one who went to thank Christ for the miracle that he had done to them. So let me imagine that all them that you invite here always thank you for having invited them. So once again, Esther, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I feel so humbled to be on air. I don't want to send salamus, but also thank you for the cup of coffee. Allow me to introduce myself.
Yes,
my
please.
Identification card names are Jimmy Agri Simiyu. I confuse those names with those ones of James Agri Orengo. James Agri Orengo is my senior, but also a namesake. So I am married to one female lady.
Very important.
Blessed with 2 boys. And why I insist on married to one female lady is because of the LGBTQ issue. You could be married to a fellow man, my dear viewers. So I'm humbled and I feel warmly welcome in this particular place. Our topic tonight is entitled The Law of Succession. I always love by commencing with introduction. Allow me to commence my introduction on a poetic note. When I do my writings, at times I go overboard even to recite poems to judges, to recite poems to magistrates or judicial officers, then thereafter now introduce my argument to them. My poem tonight is entitled Two Little Teardrops. My dear viewers, remember we are talking about the law of succession, and I'm commencing by reciting a poem entitled Two Little Teardrops. Two little teardrops were seen flowing along the river of life. Asked the first teardrop, "Who are you?" Answered the second teardrop, "Well, I am a teardrop from a girl who loved a man and missed him." Asked the second teardrop, "What about you? Who are you?" Answered the first teardrop, "Well, I am a teardrop from a girl who loved a man and got him." Yes, that is life. At times we cry over things that we can never get. But if only knew, we'll cry twice as much if we got them. Apostle Paul was of the right idea when he said, "In every situation that I found myself, I have learned to be self-contented." Welcome, my dear viewers. The topic is the law of succession.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Karibu sana.
Now, Esther, why do you think this particular girl was crying and yet she had gotten a man whom she'd loved?
Probably her expectations were not met.
Yes.
Probably she was crying because she was happy. You know, there are tears of joy also.
Joy,
The
thank
poem
you.
did not tell us if there were tears of sorrow, joy.
Yes.
Probably,
She could have been undergoing certain problems in the house.
yes.
Uh-huh.
Or she had, you know, you can have something and yet you don't have it.
Thank you.
Yes.
What about the second girl crying for having missed the man?
She had an expectation
Oh yeah, she
that
was
was not
frustrated.
met.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. So I'm happy to have a bright student around. Our dear viewers, why this program is entitled The Unspoken Word is because we speak of a number of things that are not spoken on the pulpit. The law of succession is wide, but it affects a number of us. When you talk about the law of succession, we are saying inheritance. Now, why do we go to court? You go to court to get what you call a blessing. You go to court to get what you call the authority of the court. If Esther, I was your brother, or we happen to be siblings, and our parents die, for us to occupy that particular parcel of land they own, for us to withdraw some monies in the bank accounts they owned, we need the blessings of the court. Now, those blessings are gotten by going to the court of law, mounting or filing what you call a succession cause.
Okay.
Are we together?
Yes.
Now, when somebody dies and you don't, then you start using that property in a way that benefits you, either directly or indirectly, either impliedly or explicitly. Then we say you are intermeddling, you are interfering with the property of the estate.
What
Now,
if you knew you were the legal next of kin or something of the sort?
it is still illegal. You have to go to a court of law to petition, be given what you call letters of administration, a full grant. Okay?
All right.
Now, just before I go far and before I lose track, if your parent or spouse or relative had a case in a court of law, then he or she died, went to live with the Lord, you are supposed again to go to court and get what you call letters of administration, a limited grant. You are supposed to go and get what you call letters of administration ad colligenda bona. Are you able to repeat that word, Esther? Letters of administration ad colligenda bona.
Ad colligenda
Gender bona. bona.
Bona.
Yes.
That's one word.
Yes. Now that word is Latin. Or we have some phrases in law that are borrowed in Latin. So we use the Latin words.
Right.
Now Latin agenda bona means limited to. Limited to. If your mom had some rental houses, she was collecting some rent. This rent was being monies were being deposited in some bank account in Equity somewhere or somewhere in Kenya. Now, for you to start perhaps managing those monies, or perhaps a tenant had sued you. A good example is a tenant had sued your mom. Now, for you to step in for a mom, you need what you call letters of administration ad colligenda bona.
All right.
Now, if you came to court without those letters, Esther, the term we use is that when we look at you through the spectacles of law, we don't see you. You are naked.
Okay.
Are we together?
Yes.
Now, that aside, hope I've just introduced a vital point to our dear listeners or the viewers. Now, under the law of succession, what happens when our parents or your spouse dies? Let me commence by touching on parents.
Okay.
Number one, you are supposed to get a letter from the area chief.
All right.
The area chief is supposed to write a letter explaining to court that number one, he knows the Simiu's family or the Gachanja's family, and that the late Gachanja Simiu left behind a widow by the name XYZ.
All right.
Now, the late Simiu or the late Gachanja was blessed by children 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And he's supposed to name the names of those children, spell out their identification card number, spell out their
Birth certificate in case they don't have IDs.
their year of birth, and probably spell out their cell phone numbers.
All right.
Upon getting a letter from the area chief, you're supposed to get what you call a death certificate.
All right.
Why a death certificate? Can you tell me why a death certificate is needed, Esther?
Because some people will imaginary kill others.
Thank you.
Yes.
One would forge. One would forge or fake a death.
All right.
Yeah, I saw over the television a scenario where a teacher was complaining that some guys had gone to Nairobi and declared him dead and had taken his benefits. So we need a death certificate to exhibit or prove to court that indeed this particular person died.
Yes.
So one, you have the letter from the area chief. Two, you have a death certificate. Three, you are supposed to have documents exhibiting ownership of property
To the deceased.
to the deceased.
All right.
If the deceased had been blessed with land, we need a title deed. If the deceased had cars, we need logbooks. If the deceased had some shares, we need share certificates. If he had some bank accounts, we need to spell out those account numbers. And even
If he
cell
had
phone.
an insurance policy.
Yes, we need that insurance cover policy.
Yes.
A phone too. You know M-Pesa. Because of M-Pesa, we need your cell phone number. Now, upon taking those documents to a lawyer or an advocate, there are forms that are prepared, which forms are signed by all beneficiaries, your mom, your siblings. Then we have to do a search in relation to the title deeds. We need to know, does this property really belong to your dad or your mom? Now, once we've done the search, then we can mount the succession cause in court. It will take a month to have what you call a gazette notice. Could you be knowing what a gazette notice is, Esther? As I sip a cup of coffee.
A gazette notice, from my little knowledge, is whereby a law has been given, so it is gazetted for the public to see.
Thank you. A gazette notice is a public document. We are saying that Shikwekwe has died, and the children of Shikwekwe have petitioned to this honorable court for letters of administration. Anybody out there who feels that he's a beneficiary to the estate of the late Shikwekwe should come and should come forward.
Okay.
Now that
yes,
and that is the time.
So you've said the gazette notice and administrative roles.
Yes.
So what are these administrative roles? And who is an administrator?
The gazette notice just alerts the members of the public that a particular family has mounted or filed a succession cause.
All right.
So if anybody has an interest in it, should come forward to lay his claim.
Yes.
Now, when mounting or filing a succession cause in court, we have people or somebody we call an administrator. An administrator is actually a prefect or a headmaster or a pastor or a manager of the estate or a chief. This is somebody who oversees. If I happen to be a firstborn in your family and I'm made an administrator, it doesn't mean that those properties belong to me. I'm just meant to oversee. I'm the watchman. I'm supposed to take care of them.
All right.
Now, after expiry of 6 months, you are given what you call after the introduction of the gazette notice, you get what you call a limited grant.
All right.
After
for how long?
A limited grant will last for that duration of 6 months.
Okay.
After an expiry of 6 months, you're supposed to go to court to do what we call a confirmation of grant. Confirmation of grant means we are coming back to court, or we as the beneficiaries or the inheritance, and we are coming to tell the judge or the magistrate that we have sat down as a family and we have decided that Esther is going to own 10 acres out of the 100 acres my dad owned. Simi is going to own 20 acres. In short, we are telling court this is how we decide to divide, share the property.
Or we have decided this person X will be in charge of the whole.
That is it. Yeah, there are some families that decide to give the whole property to their mom to hold in trust. Holding trust means she might release the same to people at some point in time.
Yeah.
Now, that one goes so smoothly when there are no wrangles, there is no war, there are no disagreements within the family circle. But there are times when you can go to court, Esther, and you come and say, as our last born daughter, as our last born sister in the family, you feel we have oppressed you. Out of 100 acres, we are giving you 2 acres. So you come to object towards the confirmation of grant. You come to tell court, I feel I've been finuad. That means the Gen Z words. I've been finuad, I've been oppressed, I've been exploited. Now, if you have been exploited and you've come as an objector, the court takes us through what you call a full hearing of the case.
Okay.
Whereby you will testify, you as Esther, telling court why you feel 2 acres are not sufficient for you.
Yes.
Your brothers, Simi and others, will be telling court why they feel 2 acres are sufficient for Esther. Yes. And why the bigger chunk is good for them. Thereafter, the court will hear us as beneficiaries, then pronounce a judgment.
All right.
If you are not satisfied with the terms of the judgment, you can appeal. You move to the court of appeal.
You want to tell me succession has all these issues?
Yes, you can always appeal.
Okay.
If you are in the high court, you move to the court of appeal. If you are in the subordinate court, you move to the high court.
Yes.
If you are not again satisfied with the judgment of the single judge or one judge, you move to the 3-bench judge.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, an important issue to...
Can you get to a point that you'll get to East Africa?
No.
All right.
Yeah. A succession cause only ends in the court of appeal. It doesn't go to the Supreme Court.
Okay.
If it goes to the Supreme Court, then cases will never end.
All right. Okay.
Now, where are we?
We were at person X feels that the subdivision was not fair.
Thank
so
you,
they have appealed.
thank you. Yes, I've gotten now where I'm supposed to head to.
Yes.
Now, what my dear viewers need to know is that the girl child and the boy child, in the eyes of law, are equal.
Even in the eyes of the Constitution.
Thank you. Normally, on a number of occasions, we fight about equality. Your brothers will say, you see, Esther has gotten married. How can she inherit twice? Let her go and inherit from
Where
her
she's
husband's
married.
side. Okay? In the early 80s, early 70s, early 60s, our fathers were so traditional. And they felt the girl child is not to inherit from the father. You have to get married.
Yes.
You'll only be given something if somebody never saw you. Are we together?
Yes.
If you never got married. But what I'm saying tonight is that the girl child is equally important as the boy child. In fact, in the 21st century, you girls are doing wonders in terms of maintaining your parents. We men are somehow busy with our family, and at some point in time we forget our parents.
Looking for money.
So the girl child is quite alert, quite on a spot in terms of, on her toes in terms of taking care of their parents. So kindly, my dear viewers, know that the girl child and the boy child are equal in the eyes of law. Now, before you go for the confirmation of grant, you are supposed to sit down as a family and discuss. For example, if you have 10 acres and you have 5 children in a family, you can say, let us share equally.
Okay.
On the other side of the stick, you can say, I, as Esther Gachanja, I feel I'm blessed. My husband owns some 20 acres somewhere. My husband owns some 30 acres somewhere. Then I'm looking at my brother Njoroge, who happens not only to be enjoying life, he happens to be persevering life. You know, we have people who have been blessed to an extent that they enjoy life. Then we have others who persevere life. They just survive.
Yes.
Okay? You're asking yourself tonight, what am I going to have for supper? Others have been blessed and they have chief chefs in their house. You have brought a dinner menu to choose what you want. So you feel your brother Njoroge has been persevering life. He has nothing. So instead of him getting 2 acres, you feel he should get 3 acres, then you get an acre. So families can always agree. Okay?
Yes.
If you don't agree on the table as the family, that's the point in time now when the court comes in to listen to your arguments, step in and help you people.
All right.
Now, what I want my dear viewers to equally know is that properties owned by our parents are just but a bonus to us. We as children ought to work hard
to get our own.
Sure. Yes. Don't just be seated there. You wake up early in the morning, go to the market, buy some groundnuts, play some draft in the market, go to some club, pub, play some darts, come home in the evening, wait for mother to cook. As you
you make demands.
As you look at your father as he continues aging, okay? So you need to know that there's a judge who once told my clients in court that why are you people fighting when your father really worked hard, sweated for this particular property? Why don't you just agree? So my dear viewers, you need to know that which is owned by your parents is just but a bonus for you. You need to work hard and have your own.
All right.
Okay.
Before we take a very, very brief commercial break,
yes,
we have talked of the beneficiaries that are supposed to be stated down during the succession or the administrative period, the 6 months. How do you, when we come back, I will want to understand how do you ascertain that for real these are the beneficiaries? When we come back, I will want to know because probably like the Gachanja's family, the late Gachanja's family, there are only 3 children. but probably you will find there are 4, 5 beneficiaries. How do you get to know that these are real beneficiaries? We will be coming back in a very...
Are you telling us you're only 3?
No, we will talk about that when we come back. We are taking a very short commercial break. We will appreciate to take your feedback through our SMS and WhatsApp line at 0711 176 006. We are also live on our Facebook page, that is Mountain of Deliverance Church Lanette, and we are also live on our YouTube pages. Please keep tuned.
Thank you.
Welcome back. This is the Unspoken, the Oracle Television Network. Others would lovely call it OTV. And I am Wangui Gachanja. In case you are joining us, we have been having a very informative topic. We have been talking about the law of succession. With me in studio is Advocate Agri Simio. And before we took a short break,
yes,
I asked on how do you ascertain that for real, these are the beneficiaries.
Thank you, Esther, for the second phase of this session. And thank you for our technical team for the commercial break. I thought I was the one to give the commercial break, but they opted to give theirs. Some years back when we were in the university, we had this lecturer. He was teaching us quantitative skills, that is mathematics and stuff. So when he was teaching us, there's a word he pronounced in his mother tongue that was not correct. So guys laughed. And then he said we forgive him because of his mother tongue. Now he gave us a joke about this lady called Christine. So Christine stood in church one day wanting to give her testimony. So Bwana asifiwe. My name is Christine. I don't have a boyfriend. My only boyfriend is Jesus Christ. Okay, thank you. Now Esther.
Yes.
Your question is, how do you ascertain beneficiaries?
Yes.
Of course, Esther, when you are born, you found your siblings. But there are occasions when we might find some intruders, let me use outsiders, coming to an estate and claiming to be beneficiaries. Number one, we have the evidence of the birth certificate.
Okay.
That's supposed to prove that I'm a child of so-and-so. When things go to the worst, we do a DNA test.
Okay.
Just like today, before I came, around 2 p.m., I had gone to Lancet, Nakuru, to take some DNA results.
Okay.
Some girl had gone to my client's home and purportedly said that she had been impregnated by the son. So my client was like, Simiyu, I'll not want this issue to go to court. Let's go do DNA. If we find that this child belongs to my boy, to us, we shall take up responsibility. So we did the DNA. So number one, we do the DNA. Actually, it is the DNA.
Okay.
But at times it goes overboard. To an extent, we have to do what we call exhumation. Yeah.
Okay.
Do you know how tricky it is, Esther? We have Swahili's proverb that says mama ndiye anajua baba ya mtoto. So you could pick one of your siblings to be used for DNA.
Okay. All right.
Forgetting that perhaps this child does not belong
To
to your dad. Okay?
All right.
There's a story where some boy went to some family with the ultimate aim of establishing inheritance, calling himself the son of the deceased. And there was one guy in that family who was so much against him, saying, wewe sio wetu, lazima kijulikane, twende DNA. Yesterday when they went for the DNA, this guy was the ringleader in that family, because the one was found not to be the son to the deceased.
Yes.
And the intruder was found to be the son. So my dear viewers, you have to do what you call the DNA. Now, very important, you've heard of baby daddies, baby mummies. Bad news to baby mummies out there. If you're going to sire a child with a rich guy, with the aim that at some point in time when
your child will be a heir,
when
or a heir.
when your husband, your baby daddy passes on, you'll go and inherit. That law has been overtaken by events.
Oh,
yes,
okay.
it has been overtaken by events.
God is fighting for us.
That is it. Initially, ladies will trap men, sire children with them. When these men die or pass on, during the burial, the funeral, you'll see when we say now watoto wa fulani wa mke,
a whole clan.
you guys think you are 5, unasikia you are 15, and you get surprised.
Yes.
To this fight, the Court of Appeal has made a different decision and said, you sire a child out there, jipange na yeye. So it is me to see how I'll organize my baby girl out there or my baby boy out there. But those kids will not come and interfere with you.
All right.
That is the good news.
Okay.
Now back to the issue of distribution of property.
Now, before we move on,
yes,
we are still on the beneficiary part.
Yes.
Because also the administrator should be one of the beneficiaries.
Yes.
I have seen so many issues come up.
Yes.
With the wife was not legally married.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
She was a mpango wa kando, blah blah.
Or we had not paid dowry for her, so she does not belong to our family.
Yeah.
Yes. She didn't have a marriage certificate.
I think, Esther, you must be a bright girl. In the course of preparing this topic, that issue was to come up. My dear viewers, it is vital, it is equally important to legalize your marriage. Achana na historia Jane alienda mutoni na alipoenda kurudi
alichotwa,
then Jose akaandika barua to baba mkwe father usikuwe na wasiwasi nini niko na Jane na kwa salama. Then kwa Bahasha ameweka 200 shillings 300, so father anachukua 200 ndio kunywa pombe na acha mama so moja. Those things have been overtaken by events. You need to legalize your marriage either through church wedding or through the register of marriages. Okay? Because if I got married to you or you got married to me, Esther, then we separated for some reason. Then I unceremoniously kwa njia kienyeji brought in another girl to step in for you. Then I died. Then you came back to claim inheritance. So what will happen in court is 2 wives will be fighting over their marriage relationship with the deceased. I tell you, the court will go by the lady who has the marriage certificate. So it's important to...
Even if the second one had a custom, they call it traditional marriage.
That is it. No. Under Christianity, under Christian laws, now that Simi wedded, Simi cannot be polygamous. Okay?
Yes.
But we have a law that was passed saying if I want to remarry, if I want to become polygamous, I need to seek my wife's consent.
Yes.
Now, Esther, I don't know whether, if your hubby approached you telling you, Esther, I've seen some kagal somewhere.
Let me seek my TO.
This girl is defined, her prescription is found in the book of Solomon, Songs of Solomon, and the book of Daniel. Daniel had beautiful daughters. I mean, will you give the consent? You can't. Right?
Yes.
So then you know the precepts of a church deacon is not supposed to be polygamous, blah, blah. So even if you got married traditionally, try and reduce it into paperwork. A very important point. In law, we say that which is written speaks louder than that which is not written. There's a decision in the Supreme Court where this guy, his first wife died, he remarried, lived with this particular woman for 30 years, called cohabitation. Now, when the woman died, apparently she had been blessed with a number of properties. So the guy came in claiming that was the husband. Imagine the court declined to identify him as the husband to this particular lady.
Because there was no written document.
That is it. And we were having conversations on our WhatsApp walls as lawyers, and some were saying that is so bad. If we are to follow that, then a number of us will be bastards. You know bastards?
Yes.
Children born out of wedlock.
Yes.
It was so unfair. Because initially cohabitation will be declared after once you live with the husband for a duration of 7 years or so, you are deemed to be husband and wife. But now the Supreme Court seems to have overturned that kind of approach. So what we are saying, our dear viewers, is that kindly legalize that marriage. Nyambura, you are there, you have been living with that man for the last 10 years. He has never stepped at the doorstep
of your father's house.
Of your father's house. Please, let him do like a small shopping of 5K. Let him go there. On Sunday, organize with your pastor, legalize the marriage.
Okay.
Very, very important.
All right, we get back to the dividing of
division.
Property.
Thank you. I think my colleague Penina Muigai must have spoken about tested and intested.
Yes.
Intested means this particular man has died without
a will.
Without a will. He has died without organizing his family.
Yes.
He has died without giving his family a plan. Amekufa na kusema mjipange. Are we together?
Yes.
Are we together?
Mm-hmm.
Most of our ladies out there say, una watoto wangapi? Watoto ni watatu. Hapana, wewe nitajua watoto wako siku meku. I believe that's the slogan among us you ladies. Nitajua watoto wa mzee wangu wakati amekufa.
Akikufa, yes.
So my dear viewers, I want to encourage us to be courageous enough to have a will prepared for us. It's always good to have a will prepared. What is a will, Esther?
A will is a document showing how I divided my property when I was alive.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, a will is a legal document spelling out the terms and conditions under which one will want his or her property shared amongst his or her dependents or beneficiaries or inheritance.
Okay.
Now, the sweet part of preparing a will is that these particular siblings or these particular children of yours will not fight. Okay?
Yes.
You might want your late dad's mansionette. Your small younger brother might want your late dad's mansionette. You might want that prime business in town. You might fight over it because there was no direction in terms of sharing it out. Okay. Now, what are the procedures, what are the conditions one is supposed to adhere to when drawing a will? Number one, when your husband goes to a lawyer, Esther, to write a will, you are not supposed to accompany him. Why? Because the begging question will be why? Because you will influence. You'll say, mimi na Paulo tunagombananga sana, lakini Jenny tunapendana. Sasa baba nani, Jenny mpe compound yangu. Paulo, huyo mweke kwa mtoni. Huyo mweke kwa barabara. I was using that
so
one.
You'll influence.
You'll influence.
Okay.
So neither of the spouse accompanies the other to the lawyer. But your husband or you, Esther, you're supposed to go with a friend to witness. So
I become a witness.
You can go. Your husband can go with a friend to become a witness.
All right, but not the spouse.
Not the spouse, because the spouse will. That's one. Two, if you went with your husband, you are likely to leak the secret
to the children.
Yes, you're supposed. You could quarrel with Jen. You know she's not married. You know marriage is grace. Mekaka pale, then you're like, kwani kwa hii boma tuko wangapi? So mnagombananga ile kesi mnasort na bwana. Then siku nyingine unamwambia na hata wewe wish ungejua ile mambo ile vitu babaka amefanya kwa wakiri. You know in your tongue you say wakiri ile mambo babaka amefanya kwa wakiri. Hakuna kitu umepata. No, are you together? So because of that your husband goes to the advocate with a witness. He spells out the properties. He spells out the accounts he owns. Everything he owns, spells out how he wants them to be shared out. Then that will is kept by the lawyer. If you die, there'll be a time when you people will be welcomed, will be called, someone at the lawyer's office for it to be opened and read to you people. Now this will is supposed now to be used in the succession course, where you file a course in the succession course in the court. Then you go and tell court, now we are following the will. Point of caution, a will can be challenged.
Okay, that was what I wanted to ask.
It can be challenged. How? Because one, a will can be forged. Two, a will can be drawn under what you call undue influence.
Okay.
What do you understand by undue influence, Esther?
An example, let me answer that by using examples. Probably
or duress.
Yes, probably I'm angry. So while I'm writing that will, it's out of bitterness and anger. So probably I leave my wife nothing because I was bitter at that point.
Thank you.
Yes.
You are 50% right, 50% wrong. Okay. That's okay. If it's university, you've passed. As we used to pass with 40%. You can imagine, Esther, 40%. With the medicine, there is no 50% or 40%. With the medicine, when you get, there's no wrong, you get a negative.
Yes.
You answer question so badly, -2, -5, -10. Then on top there, you've got a -20. If I get a 0, I've performed better than you. You got -20. So now, undue influence or duress could mean you are using an upper hand. You are using you are taking advantage of. Take time today, Esther, when you leave this place. Go ask your kids, wewe ni mtoto wa mama ama baba?
Mine will all go to their dad.
Mimi ni mtoto, mami ni mkali. So, huyu mzee ni mgonjwa, Esther. He's been bedridden for quite some time. We've taken him to hospital.
And the children have been taking
This mzee alitupa network. He went Basak. Alitupa network 10 years ago. That is from now, that is 2014, we're in 2024.
Yes.
How can his will have been prepared in 2017 or 2018? Now, if there is documented evidence to prove that he was mad, he was Basak, he was insane, alichizi, alitupa network, alifiatuka. That is now Gen Z, alifiatuka.
Yes.
Alifiatuka. The court
10
will,
years ago.
the court will cancel it, will not consider it.
Yeah.
2, probably mzee amelewa. Mzee amelewa, unajua mzee umempeleka pale kwa Johnson Jones, kwa kapaba amepiga yake 2-3, then he's taken to anapitisha kwa wakiri, kwa wakiri. He signs when he's drunk. Hii ni nini? Estareta. Signs. I mean, again, that can be challenged. Ama is just bedridden, mgonjwa, then you're like, daddy, sijui tunaomba loan pahali, weka kidole hapa.
Yes.
Now, provided you're able to prove those things, the will can be challenged. So what we are telling our dear viewers is that...
What if
yes,
he has left property to... Because I've seen people leave property to charitable organizations and leave nothing to the children.
It's called a gift. Inaitwa gift.
Can you challenge that? Ameachia wase wengine, ni watoi wake,
Mjipange.
mumeachiwa nyumba.
You can challenge that if there's no documentary evidence.
If it is documented, there's
Forget
nothing you
about
can do
it.
about
Yeah.
it.
The golden, I like using that word, the golden what? Thumb rule. The golden thumb rule is that which is written speaks louder than that which is not written. Esther, if you are going to lend somebody money out there, do it through M-Pesa or have it documented. But if you're just going to give hard cash, then you go to court saying so-and-so, I give so-and-so 100K, and it tells you proof.
Yes.
If I abused you, nikikutukana hapa, there's evidence.
Yes.
It's being recorded, there's CCTV here,
Yes.
kuna watu fundwa mitambo. But if you're just alone here to cooperate on this, there's no atanda nikutusi. Wezi enda kule useme simia aliniharibia jina. I mean, you can't head. So, a gift means this particular parent has given a church, has given an institution, his or her parcel of land, but he has to document it. If he does not document it, it can be challenged. Then another thing you need to consider is there are parents who give their children parcels of land. We are looking at time, Esther.
Yes.
There are parents who give their children parcels of land, then they transfer the same to them.
Okay.
If your dad gave you some properties, he transferred those properties
Verbally,
to you.
and then transferred
to you. I mean, those properties don't form part of your dad's estate. Those properties become yours.
Mine.
I'm doing a case where this particular client of mine had a property transferred to him way back before the father's death. And the judge said, there is no proof that it belonged to your dad.
Yes.
The property is his. Prior to your dad's death, the property belonged to him. Now I'm having 5 minutes to 6, Esther. We are being time conscious. Now viewers, mnaweza leta sasa maswali. Mswahili anasema sikuwa na swali, hana cha kujifunza.
I think actually I've asked quite a number of the questions that were coming in. And remember, you can talk to us through 0711 176 006. We are talking about succession. And one thing someone asked, I think they went ahead of us.
Yes.
And they were asking, after 6 months, what happened? What happens?
After 6 months, you go to court to do what you call a confirmation of grant. Yani mnaenda kufunga file ya confirmation telling court to megawana property A to Z in this manner.
Okay.
If 6 months pass, amjaenda kufanya confirmation of grant, that is okay. But should the court note ya kwamba mjaenda, it will list this matter for what you call a notice to show cause, why it should not be dismissed. because we don't want
to be
backlogs.
public property or
No. Itupwe tu, yani kesi itupwe, murudi upya.
Ah.
Because we don't want 1,000 families filing succession causes in Nakuru.
All right.
After 10 years, hizo kesi hazijaisha.
Okay.
Yes.
Right. Someone else asked how comes some property zinaambiwa ni za serikali. I think that one we answered. It's because we didn't have any written documentation.
Yes. Now it's important to wazes and kamamis. Let me say kamamis. Ukiwa na property pahali, please get documents. Then number 2, always show your family members hizi properties ziko wapi. I've had a situation or a scenario where a client came to office saying so and so has died. He has so many properties in Nakuru, lakini hatujui ziko wapi. So I told him, what do you want me to do? Who am I to know ziko wapi? And if you don't know where they are, they'll be grabbed.
Yes.
And ideally, when you die, your properties, legally speaking, belong to the government. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
How is it possible for someone to access bank accounts for the deceased?
Yes. One, we exhibit or prove to the bank that we have filed a succession cause. Number 2, you don't access until you get a court order. Because you see, you access and find that there's 100 million there, and you're only 2 in your family. Okay? Mswahili anasema shetani wa mtu ni mtu. By the way, usitarajia shetani sijui ni mtu
hako na pembe na macho moja hapa.
Shetani nakupanga tu ka idea. Na anakuambia think about it.
Yes.
So, shetani wa mtu ni ile mawazo yake mbaya. So your brother can say, hii pesa ni yangu, sister. Kasumu tu kwa chai kama hii na umeenda.
Okay. Right. I think we have answered that one for instead of the chief.
Yes.
Can you get a letter from the pastor?
Ni chief. Area administration.
Na sasa si watu kama sisi wenye wanaishi town hata hatujuangi chief anakuanga wapi. Hata chief hatujui.
Thank you. What happens is property paki iko located pahali. Property ikai kwa hewa.
Yeah.
So hii property kama iko Nakuru free area, ni chief wa free area. Kama hii property iko Kitale, ni chief wako. Na kama property iko all over Kenya, unakuwa na discretion ya kuchagua chief wa karibu.
Okay.
Na sana sana penye properties ziko nyingi. If you came to me to do a succession course for you, properties ziko Nakuru, properties ziko kuna itwaje huku juu? Let's talk of Naivasha. Properties ziko Naivasha na Nakuru. Nyingi ziko Nakuru na kidogo ziko Naivasha.
So you can settle
tunachagua penye nyingi ziko.
Right. Okay. Let me take a final one here. Someone is someone is asking, what if the deceased was taking care of a child from a young age? Do they become heirs?
That one brings me to ile story niliwaambia mtoto wa mgongo. Mtoto akizaliwa, mama akikuja na mtoto kwa mgongo, baba yake ni nani?
Ni mwenye amemlea.
So the wording kwa succession ni dependent. Wewe bora ukuje useme huyu mse mwenye amedai kuna vile alikuwa ananilea, ananilipia fees nini.
Yes.
Niliishi na yeye nini. Na kuna evidence. Huyo ni wako.
Okay.
Not necessarily biological.
All right.
Yes.
I'm seeing our time has really gone. Thank you, Dominic John Chege, Rachel Race, Judy Kibet, Edwin Oseno. Thank you very, very much for those of you who have been following us on our social media platforms. I also appreciate the feedback that I am getting from our SMS line and also our WhatsApp lines. Your final word?
Parting shot. Mtapata na commercial break. Kwa sababu wale wasei walininyima commercial break. So these 2 kids, their fathers are teachers and they are playing out there. So mmoja is like, hey, my father is better than yours. How? You can imagine my father can lecture without looking. Unajua wale teacher walikuwa wanafunza without looking at the books. My father can lecture without looking at the books. Ule mwingine akasema no, my father is better than yours. Why? My father, imagine, can teach without thinking. So viewers, thank you very much. Mbarikiwe. Thank you.
See you next week. I am
Thank
wishing
you.
you a lovely, lovely, lovely weekend. Remember, you can partner with this program. You can sponsor this program. The numbers are on your screen. Please advertise with us. This program has been brought to you courtesy of Nakuru Brighton Schools. The intake is ongoing for daycare, playgroup, PP1 and PP2. Grade 1 intake for the year 2025. Remember, it is Nakuru Brighton School where everybody in Nakuru town and